When Robert Downey Jr. appears on Vanessa Cross's talk show, the audience expects another one of his witty and thought-provoking interviews. But Vanessa isn't interested in charm or cleverness. She wants to provoke, challenge, and expose the actor's most vulnerable side. Yet as Robert takes his seat, something feels off. Vanessa holds her cue cards with a sharp smile. What was supposed to be a calm conversation could turn into something much bigger. But what Vanessa doesn't know is that in just a few minutes, she would be the one left speechless. What Robert would say that night would change everything, and no one in the audience would ever forget it. Before we continue this story, let us know where you're watching from. And if you enjoy stories like this, subscribe to the channel, because tomorrow we have another special story for you. The studio is packed. The bright stage lights shine intensely, illuminating the set at the center of the vast auditorium. The audience murmurs in anticipation, holding up colorful signs with messages of admiration and love. Among them, a few stand out. Robert, you are Iron Man, and thank you for being real. Behind the scenes, camera operators and producers signal that the long-awaited moment is about to begin. A silent countdown flashes on the monitors scattered across the set. The glow of the spotlights dances against the backdrop curtain, creating a cinematic aura for the unfolding scene. Then he appears. Robert Downey Jr. walks across the stage with calm, confident steps. His presence carries an unmistakable charisma, a mix of cool humor and wisdom that sets him apart from typical Hollywood personalities. He wears a crisp, dark jacket, a simple black tee, and dark jeans, stylish but not flashy. His salt and pepper beard is neatly trimmed, his eyes glinting with curiosity and calm intensity. The audience erupts in applause. Some call out his name, while others just smile in awe. There's something about him, something grounded yet magnetic, that draws everyone in. Robert gives a brief, humble nod in thanks before settling into the central chair on stage. He adjusts with casual ease, still carrying that unmistakable Downey charm. The atmosphere hums with a mix of excitement and suspense. On the other side of the table sits Vanessa Cross, rigid posture, commanding presence. A seasoned journalist known for her sharp interviews and no-nonsense tone. Her show isn't about comfort, it's about pressure. She wears a fitted blazer, her hair tied back flawlessly, and in her hands is a neat stack of question cards. Her gaze is focused, almost predatory. Her smile is thin, part professional, part challenge. She studies Robert for a few seconds, then leans forward slightly. Her voice is clear, direct, and firm as she launches her first question. Robert, you've had fame, fortune. You've been Iron Man, Sherlock Holmes. You could live in luxury forever. And yet, you've opened up about rehab, loss, and your mistakes. You even say you're not a hero. Does that really make a difference to anyone? A hush falls across the studio. Some audience members glance around, unsure. Others lean in, anxious for his reply. But Robert remains calm, his posture relaxed, his expression thoughtful. He takes a moment, then raises his eyes and offers Vanessa a small, reflective smile. Vanessa, have you ever thought about how many people walk through life thinking they're too broken to matter? The weight of the words hangs in the air. The audience quiets completely. Some faces change, softened by the unexpected vulnerability in his voice. Vanessa lifts an eyebrow, clearly surprised by how effortlessly Robert sidestepped her provocation without losing his cool. But she's not done yet. She flips to the next card. Her fingers tap it, her eyes narrow, her trump card is still waiting. She leans in, her tone sharpening, because she's about to ask a question that, in her mind, will finally shake Robert's carefully composed world. But what happens next is something she could never expect. Robert, you lost your father, struggled with addiction, went to jail. Didn't that destroy you? Don't you feel that in the end, everything is just pain? The impact is immediate. The audience gasps softly. Some people cover their mouths, shocked by how brutal the question is. Others frown, clearly uncomfortable with the blunt, insensitive approach. Robert lowers his head slightly, his fingers interlace, resting over his knees. Silence stretches across the entire studio. The cameras zoom in on his face. His eyes, usually sparkling with wit and charisma, now reflect something deeper, a storm of memories, loss, mistakes, growth. pain. Vanessa watches him carefully, hoping for a moment of weakness. Just one flicker she can seize on, but Robert lifts his gaze. He takes a quiet, steady breath, and in a calm, grounded voice, he replies, "Pain didn't destroy me. It taught me. It taught me that everything changes, that moments matter, and that redemption is real." The studio falls still. Some in the audience blink back tears. A woman in the front row quietly wipes her eyes. Even those who don't know his full story feel the truth behind his words. The camera shifts to Vanessa. For the first time, she looks unsettled. Her confident smile falters. Her posture stiffens. But Vanessa Cross is not known for backing down. She straightens up, fingers brushing over the remaining question cards. There's still one card left. One last jab, she's convinced, will finally shatter Robert's calm. She lifts her eyes and says, almost sweetly, "Robert, you're over 50. Hollywood isn't kind to actors your age anymore. Aren't you afraid of becoming irrelevant?" Gasps ripple through the crowd. Some whisper, others look visibly offended, but Robert doesn't flinch. He sits quietly, gently rubbing his fingers together. His eyes drift, not away from the question, but inward, as if visiting a place only he knows. Vanessa smiles inwardly. This is the moment, the break she's been waiting for. But then, Robert looks up, directly at her. His voice is soft, but what he says next stops everyone in their tracks. "Vanessa, have you ever seen a sunset?" She blinks, caught off guard. The audience too seems puzzled, but Robert continues, his voice rich with meaning. "A sunset is beautiful, even though it marks the end of the day. Have you ever heard anyone call it irrelevant just because night is coming?" The silence is shattered by applause. The audience erupts. Cheers, claps, and shouts of support echo across the studio. "Yes, that's why we love you, Robert. Bravo!" Vanessa is frozen. For the first time, she's completely lost control of the interview. Her rehearsed smile melts away, replaced by a strange mix of shock and maybe even respect. Robert didn't lash out. He didn't dodge. He answered with something far more powerful: grace. The entire dynamic of the room shifts. The audience sees it, the cameras see it, even Vanessa sees it, but she won't give up. Taking a deep breath, she tries to regain her composure. She glances at her remaining cards and makes a decision. If Robert Downey Jr. isn't afraid of aging, then maybe, just maybe, she can strike somewhere deeper. Her next question will target his childhood. The studio, still buzzing with the power of Robert's last response, quiets again. The crowd now watches him, not just as a movie star, but as a man who has been through darkness and come out stronger. Vanessa feels control of the interview slipping through her fingers, and it frustrates her. Her show isn't built on inspiration, it's built on confrontation, shock, headlines. She's known for pushing celebrities into uncomfortable corners, and right now, she's losing. She picks up the next card and pauses, letting it linger in her hand. She already knows what it says, but this time, the weight of it feels heavier. She leans forward slightly, her voice sharpened by a cold edge. "Robert, you grew up without a steady father figure. Your mother was struggling. You battled addiction, arrests. Have you never felt angry about all that?" The audience shifts uncomfortably. They know what she's doing, digging for scars, trying to cut too deep. But Robert doesn't flinch. He knew this was coming. He breathes in slowly, gazing off into the distance as though walking back through time. Then he smiles, just slightly. A quiet, reflective smile. "My father, taught me something," he says. Vanessa narrows her eyes, not sure where he's going. "He taught me the kind of man I didn't want to become. And my mother? She taught me how to survive." The words hang in the air like a quiet bell. A soft sob escapes from someone in the audience. Others glance at one another, visibly moved by the honesty and simplicity in his voice. Vanessa hesitates. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. She thought he'd get defensive, or emotional, or even shut down. But instead, Robert had flipped the energy. Again, he wasn't fighting her. He was transforming her questions into lessons. She flips through her cards again, fingers slightly trembling now. Her rehearsed rhythm is gone, her grip on the interview evaporating. She knows she has one final chance, one final move. She lifts her eyes to Robert, and this time, the sarcasm in her gaze is gone. There's something darker now, something real. If his childhood couldn't shake him, perhaps there's only one thing left that can: his mortality. The air in the studio shifts. The audience isn't just watching anymore. They're feeling something, something human, something raw. This is no longer just an interview. Vanessa leans in. Her voice lowers, now nearly a whisper, but sharper than ever. Robert, don't you feel fear? Time waits for no one. Have you thought about what will happen when your time comes? A silence settles. It's not uncomfortable. It's reverent. This is no longer about film roles or comebacks, not about box office or legacy. This is about what no one escapes: death. Robert tilts his head slightly, as if letting the questions soak in. He doesn't smirk, doesn't deflect. He breathes in slowly. The silence stretches. The audience is frozen. Vanessa herself forgets to blink. Then, finally, he speaks. "Vanessa," he says gently, "do you know the difference between fear and faith?" She blinks. Caught off guard, she'd prepared for rebuttals, anger, evasion, media-trained answers. But this, she hadn't prepared for this. Robert looks at her, not to attack, but with a kind of depth that unsettles her. Fear tells you it ends. Faith tells you it transforms. He pauses. "When my time comes, I won't be counting minutes. I'll be counting moments, the ones that mattered." The audience erupts. Applause, cheers. Some stand, clapping, others wiping their eyes. Vanessa sits back, speechless. For the first time, she isn't in control. For the first time, maybe, she's been changed. Robert doesn't gloat. He doesn't smile like he's won anything. He just sits there, calm, present, human. Since the interview began, Vanessa Cross has not faltered, not once. But now, she doesn't have a quick rebuttal. Her eyes fall to the question cards in her lap. She flips through them, searching desperately for something, anything that might help her pull back control. But the words blur. Suddenly, every carefully constructed question feels hollow. The angles, the traps, the tactical warfare of her brand of journalism, they don't seem to matter anymore, because this isn't a battle. Robert Downey Jr. has taken her chessboard and reshaped it entirely. What was supposed to be a high-stakes sparring match has turned into something far more intimate, a conversation about life, about meaning. And then it hits her. One last question remains. Not scripted, not planned, just true. She lifts her gaze, and when she finally speaks, her voice is barely audible. "And what if no one remembers you when you're gone?" The studio holds its breath. The words don't land like a punch. They fall like a stone into still water. Heavy, final, real. Robert doesn't respond right away. For the first time, he too sits in silence. But it's not discomfort, it's presence. A quiet moment of reflection between two people who've stopped playing roles. Finally, he smiles, not the crooked grin of Tony Stark, not the smug charm of a late-night guest. Something human. He speaks. "The question isn't what they'll remember about me." He pauses, lets the silence hold. "The question is, what will they remember about you?" It lands like a thunderclap. Gasps ripple through the audience. A few hands go to mouths. People shift in their seats, not out of boredom, but because they feel something shifting inside them. Vanessa is stunned. She, who has built a career digging beneath polished surfaces, now finds herself exposed. Her lips part, but no words come. Her fingers clutch the cue cards a little tighter, but she doesn't look down at them, because for the first time she doesn't need them, or maybe she realizes she never did. The camera zooms in. The woman once known for her steely resolve and biting wit sits motionless. Then it happens, a single tear. It slips quietly down Vanessa's cheek. She doesn't wipe it away, the camera catches it. The way her throat tightens as she swallows. The way her shoulders rise, just slightly, as if trying to carry something she's never allowed herself to feel. Robert watches, not with satisfaction, not with triumph, but with a kind of grace. He stands. No applause. No cue from the stage manager, just quiet. The audience doesn't cheer. They don't know if they should. Instead, they sit still, transformed. Some dab their eyes. Others stare blankly ahead, lost in thought. The mood has shifted from entertainment to awakening. Vanessa stays seated. The cards, once her armor, her weapon, lie forgotten on the table. The cameras are still rolling. The world is still watching. But Vanessa isn't thinking about the audience, or ratings, or viral clips. She's thinking about herself. Those words echo in her mind, like a bell ringing through a canyon. The question isn't what they'll remember about me. The question is what they'll remember about you. She glances down at the table, and in the polished surface she catches her own reflection. For years, she believed exposing others made her powerful. But maybe the real strength comes from being willing to look inward. The screen fades to black. Then, in white text, life is not about how long we live, but about the impact we leave behind. Soft music begins to play. Not dramatic, not cinematic, just gentle, real. The video ends. If this story moved you, if it made you pause, reflect, or feel something deeper, then don't let it end here. Like, share, comment. Not for the algorithm, but to remind someone else that their story, their impact, still matters. Because sometimes a question changes everything, and sometimes it changes us.